Welcome, curious minds, to What Is, where we peel back the layers of the everyday and uncover the extraordinary hidden within. Today, we're tackling something so fundamental, so ubiquitous, you probably haven't given it a second thought. Pun absolutely intended. Look around you. Chances are there's one nearby, silently, relentlessly ticking away. Or perhaps a glowing display, digits ceaselessly advancing. We are, of course, talking about the humble, yet utterly indispensable, clock. But what is a clock really? At its most basic, a clock is a device designed to measure, keep, and indicate time. Simple, right? But like many simple definitions, it barely scratches the surface of its profound complexity and impact. Think of it as humanity's relentless quest for order in the face of an ever-flowing, intangible dimension. From the grand, ornate grandfather clock in the dusty hallway, with its rhythmic swing and sonorous chimes, to the sleek, silent digital display on your smartphone, or the invisible, hyper-accurate atomic clocks governing our GPS systems. They all share that singular, overriding purpose. They are our navigators through the fourth dimension, our steadfast companions on the journey of existence. They take the abstract concept of time and make it concrete, measurable, and shareable. Without them, we'd be, well, late, permanently, and probably confused. Very, very confused. Now this brings us to a more intriguing question. Why is time measured as it is? 24 hours in a day, 60 minutes in an hour, 60 seconds in a minute. These numbers feel so natural, so self-evident, that it's easy to assume they're some kind of universal constant. But they're not. They are, in fact, a fascinating legacy of ancient civilizations, arbitrary divisions that stuck, much like that catchy jingle from a commercial you heard 20 years ago. Our initial units of time, the day, the year, are purely astronomical. The day, that's one full rotation of our magnificent blue marble on its axis. The year, that's one complete grand orbital waltz around our fiery sun. And the month? Well, that was initially tracked by the phases of the moon, although modern calendar months are a bit less strict about aligning perfectly with the lunar cycles, much to the chagrin of werewolves everywhere. But then came the finer divisions. The Babylonians, those brilliant stargazers and mathematicians from Mesopotamia, gave us the 60. Their sexagesimal, or base 60 number system was incredibly sophisticated for astronomy and geometry. It made perfect sense to them to divide a circle into 360 degrees, and a day into smaller segments based on multiples of 60. Why 60? It's a nicely divisible number having factors of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 12, 15, 20, 30, and 60. Very convenient for calculations. The Egyptians, not to be outdone, divided their day into 24 hours, 12 for daylight, 12 for night. They probably didn't have much of a choice, given the whole sun being up, then down thing. Over time, these two systems merged and solidified, giving us the 24-hour day made up of 60-minute hours, which themselves are made up of 60-second minutes. The need for accurate timekeeping wasn't just for philosophical musings, it was practical. Imagine trying to coordinate a grand army, or sail a ship across an ocean, or even just meet a friend for a drink, without standardizing the way to measure time. Chaos. Utter, delightful, uncoordinated chaos. So these ancient, seemingly arbitrary divisions became the bedrock of our modern temporal framework, a testament to human ingenuity and the stubborn persistence of good ideas, or at least ideas that worked well enough. So with the why somewhat settled, let's journey back to the very origins of these time-telling marvels. Before gears and springs, before electricity and oscillating crystals, how did our ancestors keep track of time? Well, they looked up, way up. The earliest clocks weren't mechanisms at all, but rather observations of natural phenomena. The sun, of course, was the original timekeeper. Early humans tracked the sun's position across the sky noting the shifting length and direction of shadows. This led to the creation of the sundial, one of humanity's first true time-measuring instruments. Essentially, it's a stick, or a gnomon, stuck into the ground, casting a shadow that moves as the sun traverses its arc. Simple, elegant, and surprisingly accurate, provided it was daytime, not cloudy, and you weren't trying to tell the time indoors. Which, let's be honest, those are some pretty significant caveats. Sorry I'm late, the sun had a prior engagement. Hardly an excuse that holds up today. To conquer the night and those inconvenient cloudy days, humanity turned to other elements. Water clocks, or clepsydras, emerged around 1500 BCE in Egypt. These ingenious devices measured the time by regulating the flow of water. Some involved a pot from which water was slowly dripping, marking time as the water level dropped. Others filled with markers inside indicating the passage of hours. They were a significant leap forward, offering continuous timekeeping indoors and at night. Though I imagine ancient Egyptian custodians had to be constantly refilling them. Anyone seen the water clock guy? My meeting with Pharaoh Seti is in 2 hours and the bucket is almost empty. Beyond water, there were candle clocks, used primarily in medieval China and Japan, where markings on a candle indicated the passage of time as it burnt down. And incense clocks, also from Asia, where the calibrated stick of incense would burn, marking time by specific scents or by tiny bells attached to the falling threads. Ingenious, truly, but perhaps not ideal if you suffer from allergies or have a particularly hyperactive cat. These early inventions weren't so much about telling the precise moments as they were about measuring the duration of events, or dividing the day and night into rough segments. The idea of exact time as we know it was still a long way off. The real game changer, the invention that truly gave birth to the clock as we understand it, arrived in medieval Europe. With the rise of monastic life and the need for monks to pray at specific, consistent intervals throughout the day and night, a more reliable and precise timekeeper was desperately needed. No more guessing with sundials, no more refilling water pots. They needed something mechanical, something robust. And so, sometime in the 13th to 14th century, the mechanical clock was born. The crucial innovation? The escapement mechanism. This brilliant piece of engineering converted the continuous force of a falling weight into a controlled, oscillating motion, allowing a gear train to move forward in discrete, regular steps. Imagine a tiny brake that keeps stopping and releasing, allowing the wheels to turn just a little bit at a time. This was revolutionary. Early mechanical clocks were colossal affairs, built for church towers and public squares. They were less about showing the time on a dial, and more about announcing it with the loud, resounding bells. People didn't check their wristwatches, they simply listened for the chimes. There goes noon, time for lunch. Or maybe a slightly earlier lunch. Those medieval bells were notoriously inconsistent. Accuracy wasn't their strong suit. They could lose or gain an hour a day. But they were a vast improvement and marked the beginning of the relentless pursuit of precision. The next major leap came in the 17th century with the invention of the pendulum clock. The great Italian scientist Galileo Galilei had observed the constant swing of a chandelier in Pisa Cathedral and realized its potential for timekeeping. It was the Dutch scientist Christian Huygens who in 1656 designed and patented the first practical pendulum clock. The regular isochronous swing of the pendulum provided an incredibly stable rhythmic beat, vastly improving accuracy from hours a day to mere minutes. This precision was a revelation, transforming science, navigation, and everyday life. Suddenly, experiments could be timed more accurately, and maps could be made with greater detail. As clockmaking advanced, so did miniaturization. By the late 17th and 18th centuries, the development of spring-driven mechanisms allowed for smaller portable clocks, like the first pocket watches. These were luxury items, status symbols, signaling not just wealth, but an appreciation for punctuality. Imagine the flex, pulling out a delicate, intricate timepiece from your waistcoat. Oh yes, it's precisely tea time, darling. Do try and keep up. Perhaps one of the most heroic stories in horology is that of John Harrison, an 18th century English clockmaker who spent decades perfecting the marine chronometer. Navigators faced the terrifying problem of accurately determining longitude at sea. Having a perfectly accurate clock that could keep Greenwich Mean Time while sailing across the world was the answer. Harrison's chronometers, particularly the legendary H4, were marvels of engineering, designed to withstand the pitching and rolling of a ship, temperature changes, and humidity. It was a race against time and the elements, with a huge prize offered by the British government. Harrison, against much skepticism, eventually triumphed, forever changing maritime navigation and global trade. The Industrial Revolution in the 19th century brought mass production, making clocks accessible to everyone. Suddenly, every home, every factory, every public building needed a clock. This era also led to the standardization of time zones, a necessary development for managing complex railway schedules across vast continents. No longer could every town set its own local time based on its specific solar noon. The world needed to sync up, and the clock was the instrument of that synchronization. The 20th century saw the arrival of electric clocks, and then, in the mid-century, the extraordinary advent of the quartz clock. Utilizing the piezoelectric properties of a vibrating quartz crystal, these clocks offered an unprecedented accuracy at incredibly low cost. Suddenly precise timekeeping was no longer a luxury, it was a commodity. Your digital watch, your microwave, your computer. Almost everything that tells time today relies on a simple, oscillating piece of quartz. But the pinnacle of timekeeping, the ultimate in accuracy, arrived with the atomic clock. Developed in the mid-20th century, these clocks measured time based on the extremely stable oscillations of atoms, typically cesium or rubidium. They are so precise that they lose or gain only 1 second in hundreds of millions of years. Atomic clocks are the invisible architects of our modern world, underpinning everything from GPS systems that guide our cars and phones, to the synchronization of the internet, to the most complex scientific experiments. From a shadow on a stick to the vibration of an atom, humanity's journey to conquer time is truly astounding. The clock, therefore, is more than just a device. It's a cultural artifact, a societal cornerstone, and a philosophical mirror. Its role in culture is immense and persuasive, shaping almost every aspect of our lives. Think about how clocks organize our society. Without them, there'd be no work schedules, no school bells, no synchronized public transport. Appointments would be meaningless. Imagine trying to run a global economy without a universally agreed upon time. It would be utter pandemonium, a delightful, unquantifiable mess. The clock transformed our perception of time from an amorphous flow to a quantifiable, manageable resource. Time became money, a commodity to be saved, spent, or wasted. In art and literature, clocks have profound symbolic meanings. They often represent the march of time, life's fleeting nature, and mortality. The classic Memento Mori often features clocks or hourglasses, reminding us that our time is finite. Father Time, the iconic personification, carries a scythe and an hourglass, symbolizing both creation and destruction, the relentless passage towards the end. Clocks can also be symbols of precision, order, and scientific progress, or conversely, of anxiety and pressure. The ticking clock in a suspense film, the deadline looming. Our language is riddled with temporal metaphors thanks to clocks. Time flies, killing time, making time, racing against time, just in the nick of time. We live by these phrases, internalizing the clock's grip on our daily existence. The very concept of punctuality, arriving at an agreed upon precise moment, is a wholly cultural construct enabled by the clock. Before accurate clocks, showing up around noon was perfectly acceptable. Now, around noon can be an insult. Psychologically, The clock deeply affects us. It dictates our rhythms, our sleep cycles, our periods of work and rest. It creates a sense of urgency and sometimes a strange kind of peace. Knowing the time allows us to plan, to anticipate, to coordinate with billions of other people around the globe. It's the silent conductor of humanity's grand symphony. And of course, the clock has been a vital engine of progress itself. Without precise timekeeping, many scientific discoveries would have been impossible. Astronomy, physics, chemistry all rely on accurate measurement. The exploration of the world, the Industrial Revolution, the digital age, each was enabled, if not outright driven, by improvements in our ability to measure and manage time. From the sundial's patient shadow to the dizzying oscillations of a cesium atom, the clock is not merely a tool, it's a fundamental pillar of our civilization. So the next time you glance at your watch or check your phone for the time, take a moment. Acknowledge the incredible journey of that seemingly simple device. From crude sticks in the sand to cosmic timekeepers, the clock represents humanity's relentless pursuit of understanding, order, and control over the most elusive dimension of all. It's a testament to our ingenuity, our curiosity, and our shared, intricate dance with the passage of moments. Thank you for joining us on this temporal journey. If you've enjoyed unraveling the mystery of the clock, make sure to like this video. Leave us a comment about what is topic you'd like us to explore next. And of course, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single second of our future investigations. Until next time, keep ticking.